So with throwing hands, where did throwing hands start to fit in all this, and when did you start incorporating?
So I'm a sports guy through and through. I grew up basketball, football, baseball,
Hmm.
soccer, playing, and then you know once UFC really hit, I was sold by that time. Like UFC, but I was already watching like stuff on YouTube when you could, or on the internet, little you know pay-per-views here and there at the time, because back then we didn't have the internet like that. Then the internet came and you could only find little clips and things here and
Yeah.
there. So I was already trying to watch that stuff, but once it became on TV, it was that
Hmm.
was like I was like, oh, this is amazing. So I always had a particular love for just the MMA world and just a totally different interest in it, um, than basketball or football or baseball. It's just different. You know,
Right.
the training that goes into it, the total life commitment. Basketball and football, it's like a year. Yeah, it is a year round commitment, but you do get off time. You do get this. You do get that. It's just different.
Right.
Just different. So I was always intrigued by that. Um, so when we got this going. Um, One of my biggest things was recruit combat sports,
Hmm.
recruit people to talk combat sports, and had a few guys here and there, and had a couple of shows here and there, and they fell off, kept falling off, kept falling off. I would sub in, and then it would fall off. And I would sub in, it would fall off. So I just said, "Fuck it, just gonna do it myself."
Yeah, exactly.
I got a couple co-hosts, fell off, fell off, fell off, and then boy Josh. And
Hmm.
and that was funny too, even the way that happened, we didn't really I think we talked about it briefly, like, once, and then it just happened, kinda.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Kinda, I
remember.
mean, really.
Yeah, I remember you hit me up on Messenger, and you were all like, "Hey, man, like I remember seeing you at the event, and talking to you and everything, and I feel like we got opportunity here. We should work together." And it just kind of like clicked right from there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad I did that, fast forward now, been through your weight cut journey, we've been to, I think, 3 roughs together now,
Yeah,
um
yeah, about
about to
three,
hit our
four.
4th. Yeah, about to at least hit our 4th in this next one if it's not already. Um, it's been great, and that's the type of thing as I mean, like, I just bumped into you. It was nothing. We didn't have no crazy meet or nothing.
Hmm.
It's just something I was just like, hey, this dude's really cool, and then we ended up like this, and
Yeah,
that's how a lot of the connections I've had in this industry have been, man. And I can go on and on with people that are just they're just open and I don't know, like rivalry or hate that I see in this industry. It's been great.
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing that I love about the fact that in this all this stuff going on now, especially in the MMA world, just all the different people that you meet. Because that's the thing that sets the sport aside for me versus any other sport is also the types of people that you meet because they come from all different backgrounds, all different styles and walks of life. Like you got some fighters that they do real estate on the side. You got other fighters that
Right,
have other types of businesses. You can just go on and on and on. There's some fighters who've graduated Harvard, some fighters who never went to college at all. So it's just all the different types of people that you meet, even just like on a quick, like, hey, what's up? And how it just grows from there. It's awesome, hands down. And like, yeah, you were saying from the middle, like beginning of this year to fast forwarding now, how things have just grown and then how we connected. And then now I co-host with you on Throwing Hands, and that's just been taken off. Like, dude, we had Steven from Heck Audio on. We had the partner CJ Pittman from Rough Nation on. We've had countless fighters, we all kinds of people. And it's been just a fucking blast, dude. blast. And I wouldn't even be able to be on this StreamYard doing a live stream if it wasn't for the connection that we had made.
Right. I mean, yeah, dude, that's the dopest part. And having so we do have UFC credentials. We do have Bellator credentials, and for the longest time, that's what we talked about.
Hmm.
That's what I talked about on a regular basis. Even when me and you first linked up, we spent a lot of our time on UFC and Bellator and what was going on and dissecting those matchups and talking about those fighters. And I tell you that I love the pivot we made and switching to more of the local scene because it gives us more. We're more in tune to not only what's going on, we're more in tune to the person we're talking
Hmm.
to. Talking to them backstage, seeing them, you know, in in and around the arena during, before, after, and conversing with them and seeing how they're actually reacting to a win or a loss and how they're
Hmm.
handling it. Um, Talking to the guys at, the weight cuts and, you know, I don't know how many times that you've talked to these guys and they're like, dude, last night was a bitch. I just want them to let me get the fuck on the scale so I can get some water.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just something goes back to, like I said, it is just this particular sport. There's just some type of other intrigueness that was there that you can't get with anything. And
Hmm.
I think that our connection helped us pivot towards focusing on rough and more of the local scene and the local guys and giving them a voice, or trying to provide a voice for them, and it's been more enjoyable, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And like a big thought process that I kind of look at too, with just how we become more focused and orientated with the local scene and with the amateurs coming up, is we could focus on all these on this generation of fighters that's already in the UFC and Bellator, to where they're already probably at the later end of their career, and we're going to see them go out. But on a local level like this, with amateur fighters we've been getting to meet and talk to and interact with, this is the next generation. So we
Right.
have years ahead of us to watch some of these fighters that end up going from Bellator to UFC to ONE FC to any other promotion that pops up. We have that opportunity now and the connection now to watch this next generation rise up. And who knows how the story is going to take us? Because, like, we had Mark Coates on before.
I
He
was just gonna
fought
say
in
Mark.
rough. Yeah, exactly. He fought in rough, and then boom, we got him in Bellator, and then we had him on. And it's just the story that it tells too with all these fighters. It's something else, man.
Yeah, no, and you're right. Like even with the Mark thing, there was a light situation going on during that whole thing with him and O'Malley.
Yeah.
Um, that they had their own little personal thing going on with one of their previous fights, and Mark still thinks he won, and there's a lot of that. So being able to even see that play out, and us talking back in July, or what was that, June, and
Hmm.
saying, Sean wins this fight, there's no way that they can't give him a top 15. If Sean wins this fight, who's next? They got to show him out. They got to be able to
Hmm.
tag him. And then, oh, Peter Yan. Now we're talking about this. But again, the reason why we bring up Sean a couple of times, even though he's a UFC guy, is we've seen Sean at Rough. We've talked to Mark, and we've had that little bit of, so it just makes it just a little bit more relevant to the situation, relevant to us and what's going on and the local
Exactly.
scene and driving that. And you're 100% right though. This is the next generation, and we are kind of sitting right in the farm system of the next generation of fighters.